science would call it. People mostly call it the nasty Nasya for undeserving reasons though. This treatment, I have gone through all the therapies in Ayurveda, be it the classical vomiting, the purgation, the enema or the bloodletting, but I must confess Nasya is the toughest depending upon the medicine that is utilized. But there are easy measures to make it more endurable and more comfortable for you. There are so many options that are advocated in Nasya procedure. The Nasya is always best started well before the treatment starts, which means please ensure that you are not doing any heavy works, heavy sweatings, heavy exercise at least 3 to 4 hours before Nasya. And Nasya is best completed even after the Nasya is over by the same method, that you are not using any heavy methods to really strain your body. Also, it is important not to have a head bath after Nasya and not to have a lot of fluids consumed after Nasya. So basically it is best in a restful state where your body doesn't sweat a lot just before it, and if it sweats a lot by walking or whatever, please make sure the body is cooled off to normal temperature before you get into Nasya. And definitely after Nasya you need a lot of rest. There is no heavy work that is advisable, otherwise it has its own share of difficulties that will be generated for you by Nasya, not because of Nasya but because of the apatya or the wrong regimen after Nasya. The first step is, again this is a mock thing, I had done the Nasya on me as I do every year as much as possible, but it's not again practical. This is not how somebody should be dressed in Nasya. Everything is removed, only the langoti is there, and he's just doing representatives of the steps. So the first step would be, I think I'll just do it for me. Imagine this is the oil and he will do it. So the face massage is just 5 minutes of abhyanga as we call on the face. We were making the face massage with oil, and then he would make steam of he will make the steam of this area, but before that, before he makes the steam, since eyes do not deserve any kind of hot therapy, steaming or whatever hot therapy, and since head should not have hot water as shower, this would be tied by the therapist to you. In spite of this tying up, it would be prudent because the heat is not always controllable coming to the steam. To some extent it's strong. It's best that you can keep your hands like this. Please imagine this is full of oil, 5 minutes of massage is done, and then steam and then he's making the steam, which will increase the vascularity of the area, and it makes the endurance and the procedure is much more comfortable when the steam. So the steam would be in such a way, it's not about 3 or 4 or 5 or 10 minutes. It's a point where you reach like the budding sweating here, which you can just take and do like this. Virtually it's like dribbling sweating. That is indication to do steam. And once steam is very finely done, the therapist will tell you to that we are stopping the steam because plenty of flowing steam from your face, and that will include this area. As I say that even this area, the neck, back, I mean this much area would have this, the steaming done, so that the whole area is made very steamy and well sweated. And then once the steam stops, I am cutting short the steps, they will remove this, and always please maintain your hands like this when the steam is on so that you control the steam's intensity. And once this is done, you are lying down position, and in the lying down position, it's very important that you're free, your hands are free, your legs are free, and then please make this movement, and you don't have to be putting your head like this. It's not necessary because this gives a lot of burning and headache to many people. All that is required is a slight elevation of leg is good, but that's fine even if it's not happening. You need to make sure that this is the way it looks, like you have the stretch. You don't have to bend yourself this much. This of course Nasya is impossible. You don't have too much stress. It's like a moderate, it's a moderate situation of like this. But you can easily have your comfort here. So this is fairly fine enough. And then any though. And what they will do is oil. Please imagine that this has oil. The dosage is a different story. That is of course guided to the therapist. And they would place, please imagine it's full of oil, and they would place, they will close one of the nose and fill it in one shot. This is the most discomforting time depending upon the oil that is used. But please bear with this, and the amount of steam made here would make that easy. And then once they are pouring it, please make sure before that you make movements like much before the oil is put into you, and just you can use your fingers or whatever, tissue paper or whatever, or any kind of bud to remove the phlegm or whatever, like this from your nose. And then when it is being poured, and just turn yourself like this. They'll keep doing this kind of movement. And then you also please, this is the most discomforting time, most discomforting. And then please turn yourself, because you will be prompted to get up like this. This is what happens for most of the clients. As soon as this falls, please lie down as much as you can. I know it's hard. And then instead of just getting up, you can just turn yourself like this. And here they have the, and then it is coming to your mouth. This is most important step now, the famous Indian spitting act. I know culturally it's very tough for many of you to even do this, but this is important. And then you are spitting out as much. Again, you are just lying down. They'll keep something comfortable. You're just lying down, and this keeps on happening. And then they do the same on the left side. But before that, I think I'll just show only one part of it, because other part is understood by default. Is that again you will be lying down like this, and the steam. And again, of course, with the cover on the eyes, they will request you to make the steam will be done. And of course, you can keep your hands like this. There will be a towel on the so that the steam's drops do not fall on you. Or even without that, if they can take care of it, there's no problem. And then steam and then the area where the Nasya is being done or was done would be done steam again more and more, and this will stimulate more of the phlegm to come out. As much it will just keep coming out. And I'm just showing it shortly, but it will be done for 5 to 10 minutes. So let us put it this way, that the same procedure is being repeated on the other side also. So if it is 1 ml dose, we usually start with half ml, and it is nearly impossible to enforce the classical drops of up to 5 ml on the day 1. It's just not easy. It's not just practically feasible also for most of the people, because the tolerance level is very less in this treatment. So we start with half ml here and half ml here. The whole procedure may take close to half an hour. And the next day we make 1 ml. But we have had clients who have cooperated till 5 ml. That's the maximum dose allotted. So the same way we do on the right will be done on the left side also. To summarize it, please make sure that you are normal body temperature before Nasya and after that also. That when this is being poured, please make sure that before you just clean your nose, and if you can cut your hairs of the nose, is the best. And then please make sure that you don't have the urge to urinate or defecate before that. Even during it, it's best addressed to before starting Nasya. And then when the oil is poured in the nose, as much you can. Of course, you're lying down like this, and as much just for the camera's angle. And then you are, it's very important, and you will realize that in that process the oil is coming to your mouth. Please do not swallow. Swallowing is no harmful, but better not to swallow. Please spit that out. The medicine will do its job. And the worst thing that happens to many people is the headache. It's the burning. It is the dizziness or whatever, worst case, but it's very less. If you have headache, I have had experience like headache till this area, the burning till this area, numbness to this hand, sometimes numbness all this line, sometimes numbness till the feet. There are so many different responses. I won't say reactions, responses somebody would have with Nasya. And the same patient shows different responses on different days. And even I have different responses every year on different timings, and also different medicines. It's so unvariable. So everybody has said that they do have some kind of discomforts. Not the case. I have only one gentleman who has said that he felt near-death experience. And when I asked him, what do you mean by near-death experience? Did you ever feel near-death experience? He said, I don't know that, but the Nasya is so horrible that I think near-death experience could be something like this, even though he never had that. So please expect very smooth, please expect moderate discomfort, and please expect maybe quite a lot of difficulty with Nasya. This video is for your informed consent and not just for your awareness. Any other concerns, the doctor will help you directly. The next step in the Nasya, which is nearly obligatory, is this cigar of herbal powders. It's totally herbal. Why it is done is to make sure that the oil that is stuck is just brought out and the phlegm that is coming out is more facilitated. So typically, please ensure that you take in as much only you can take in. And I'm pretty sure. So a situation would it's like this, closing this, and of course they will hold it for you. You don't have to hold it. I'm making his job easier. Like you are making through. Please ensure. You see, such a small puff makes such come. I did not want to smoke, but it just happened. So it's like you are making through one nose, hold it both. I should not be speaking, and then. So taking through one nose, holding both, expelling only through the mouth, never through the nose. And you'll realize that sometimes it reaches till here and till here. It's up to you how much you want to get in. So 3 to 5 or even maximum 8 or 9 puffs, one each would be fair enough to bring the phlegm out and it's everything out. And after that, there is a decoction that is served. Usually hot water or warm water is fine, but we provide the Trifla Kashayam. And then this is to remove whatever further is left out. And you will see this kind of frothy, this even with hardly any further strong treatment, there's so much of phlegm and the toxins are released from this area that most of our therapists do observe, and so do I, that the patients after Nasya, after 5 to 7 days, they feel the head is very clear, and even some say it's like a facelift for some people because they feel the jawline is more distinct after Nasya. There are so many experiences. Many had my worst, if not worst, the best experience that I had spit out close to, there's no exaggeration, 960 ml of phlegm in a matter of 7 days when I use a specific kind of Nasya oil, but that's not done for you anyway. So you can imagine that much is the phlegm that can come up from anybody, the maximum at least for me, close to 1 liter of phlegm in 1 week time when I was surprised. So please don't expect more phlegm coming, and please don't be disappointed if you don't have much of phlegm coming either, because the body will decide how much to throw out, and not every medicine is meant to bring out a lot of phlegm out. So the coming out of phlegm or mucus is not the criteria for Nasya. And please expect some hangover for the next 4 to 5 hours after Nasya. It may not happen. Worst case, we have had people who have strong headaches all throughout the night and burning all throughout the night. It's all possibilities, but generally it's a very affordable treatment. But I must conclude by telling, out of all the therapies I have done in Ayurveda, Nasya is the most not very comfortable treatment.